Hello everyone and welcome back to a year in the TikTok of FatSapphicBro. And we're just going to jump right into it.
The Obesity Care Advocacy Network to try and do just that. There is a link in my bio that will take you to their website, and it is literally a plethora of information. Everything from...
Oh man, I really love your content normally. You're one of my favorite creators, but this is, you're missing the mark, friend. This is not okay. This is still a fatphobic organization. This is still an organization that wants to help with the obesity epidemic, which is not even a real thing. This is still an organization that is going to work to eliminate fatness. This is still an organization that is going to lead to the medical abuse, medical neglect, and medical fat phobia that fat people face every time we go to a doctor. This is an organization that is still going to lead to fat people dying.
So, I really resent the, it tries to cure obesity, in air quotes, when, oh my god, there's just so much here, and I was having a hard time pausing the video. So, one, the obesity epidemic is 100% a thing. Let's take a look at if my computer will work. So, this is from a website called USA Facts. U.S. obesity rates have tripled over the last 60 years. And there was a list where I'm more interested in this work. So, if we take a look at nationwide obesity rates, there's obesity, which would be low levels of obesity, which was what I was. I'm actually still kind of bordering on that, and I'm working to get my weight down. But if we just look we're going to just go from 1988. And the other one is severe obesity, which I'm guessing is morbid obesity. So because I'm narcissistic like this, I'm going to just take a look from the time that I've been alive. I was born in 91. So 1988 to 94, the obesity rate was 23.2%, with 3% being severely obese. Now, if we look at, this only goes to 2018. So it's worth noting that there's another 5 years worth of information that hasn't been accounted for here. But the obesity rate has jumped to 42%. It's increased nearly 20%. And severe obesity has tripled, more than tripled, since 91. So for the entire time that I've been alive, obesity rates have tripled. Well, severe obesity rates have tripled, and obesity rate in general has doubled. Essentially, it's been doubled. So the obesity epidemic is in fact a thing. It is something to be concerned about. It is something to work against. And I've learned that this concept of, you're killing fat people, it took me a while to understand what they meant by that. And what I've gathered what they mean by this is that doctors put forth weight loss, and the fat people don't want to lose weight because they feel like they can't control their weight, so they don't even try the weight loss. And as a result, doctors don't offer alternate treatments. And the fat people end up dying. Now, sometimes this is from something that could have been fixed despite their obesity, not fixed, but treated despite their obesity, like cancer. But sometimes it's stuff like heart disease or complications from diabetes and that sort of thing, which would have been helped with a weight loss plan. So there's a little bit of a conflation here. I don't know. I also really hated the, you can't cure fatness, and it just evokes to me the argument for people that are trying to cure autism and the kind of ableism around that. But the big difference here is that fatness is not something you are born with. Fatness is something that can 100% be controlled. Even with autism, from what I understand, it's not treatment so much as accommodations that are made. As to where fatness can 100% be treated. It can even be cured. I mean, if you're consistent with your diet and exercise, it can be cured. So to evoke that language and that argument from people that are fighting ableism, I find just detestable. But let's listen to the rest of what they have to say.
I am getting so sick of people being willing to listen to everybody except fat people. I have an entire platform where all I do is educate around medical fat phobia, and it is so...
Except you provide misinformation a lot of the time. You tell people to not trust doctors, that doctors are liars. You give incorrect information on fucking diabetes. You say you cured your diabetes, despite the fact that you were still on fucking diabetic medication. I'm so mad. I'm so mad.
easy to find those of us who are out here doing this education, and
Oh, those of us out here doing education. You're fucking Google search education, motherfucker. I'm so mad. I am so mad.
not promote organizations that aren't listening to actual fat people. I'm really disappointed in your decision to do this. And I really think that it is a problem to convince other people that this is a solution, when in reality, this is just yet another form of fat phobia. Please, please, please do better. Talk to actual fat people, especially those of us that are educating around medical fat phobia and the abuse and the neglect that we all face. I'm literally working on a documentary about...
Alright, it froze there for some reason. We're just... Clearly they said they're working about... on the medical documentary, which we looked in a different TikTok, and it was regarding people's stories and shit like that. But the thing is that, one, I don't really like that it's characterized as medical abuse. I think that's taking it a step further. Medical neglect, there's a few very rare instances where that I think would qualify as the case. I don't think that doctors pushing for you to take a weight loss program when you are morbidly obese is medical abuse or neglect. I think that doctors try to put forth treatments that would cause the most benefits with the least harm. Behavioral, diet, and lifestyle changes being the go-to option because it doesn't require a chemical or surgical intervention. The body works as it's supposed to, and it's just you adhering to the plan that's the biggest obstacle. But this evocation of other social movements that we hear in this line of rhetoric pisses me off to no end, because it's like Fed acceptance is like a caricature of social movements, because they'll hone in on stupid shit and say we are oppressed. I don't know. It little off topic, but I went on Cringetopia, the Cringetopia subreddit recently, and I heard that some people going after blonde phobia, that bleaching your hair was blonde phobic. People need to get off the fucking internet.
This is a comment on the video about the new procedure for basically turning off your hunger hormone. And this person says, here's how to lose weight. Starve, bro. Yeah, okay. What I wanted to say, and the reason I'm highlighting this comment, is because this is the other thing. Everybody, literally everybody, including the medical community, even though we know it's wrong, everybody assumes that fatness is solely caused by overconsumption of food. And it's just not true. For one, there are a ton of medical conditions, I have two of, hypothyroidism and PCOS, that cause you to gain weight and be unable to lose the weight. Now, I have gotten myself healthier and gotten those things more under control without weight loss because it's possible. But I am so sick of the fact that...
Here's the thing, hypothyroidism and PCOS don't inherently make you gain weight. It can make you hungrier, which would make you consume more food.
The solution to obesity and the obesity epidemic isn't, better access to healthy food, better access to medical care, better access to preventative care, eliminating anti-fat bias within the medical industrial complex so that people can get adequate care. No, it's always, let's find a way to make them stop eating. We're not fat because we can't stop eating. There are thin people that can out-eat me any day of the fucking week. There are thin people.
I'm sorry, no. I have a very hard time believing that a person at a healthy weight would consistently be able to out-eat you every day and not gain weight themselves. You are 430 pounds. Even with hypothyroidism and PCOS, I guarantee that you eat more than the average healthy weight person. Your body needs fewer calories and you just don't realize it. There's a couple of different things that could be an effect, but at its root, it doesn't really matter. Even if you're eating the same thing as another person, if your body doesn't burn as many calories, you have to eat less. It still boils down to overconsumption of food for your body. And for the record, I don't remember where it is. I know I've seen one. I'm hoping that we come across it at some point while I'm doing this series. But there is one where FatSapphicBro says that they typically eat about 3,000 calories a day. So fuck off with this narrative.
People that eat more than us fat people every day. They just don't gain the weight because their metabolism works differently. But we're not fat because we overeat.
So here's the thing. It's like, yes, their metabolism works differently, therefore you must compensate for your metabolism. You work with a doctor for this. There's, in extreme cases, people with Prader-Willi syndrome where they don't get that fullness cue. But I believe, because I remember watching a couple of documentaries on, I don't know if I can call it documentary, it was on TLC. It was said that they have much slower metabolism than the average person, and they only need 800 to 1,000 calories or something per day. But because they don't have the hunger, they don't have the fullness cue, they will consistently typically eat more than that. The metabolism dictates how many calories you need to function. Just because someone's metabolism may burn, let's say for instance, the TDEE of a healthy weight person is 2,000 calories because they work out so much. So we'll just help me with that real quick. Just take it with me for a second. And let's say based on their height, their weight, and their activity level, their TDEE is, or no, it might be BMR. We'll say BMR, because that's what I think I'm trying to get to. Their BMR is 2,000 calories a day. But you, who tend to have a slower metabolism and aren't as physically active, let's say your basal metabolic rate is only 1,500 calories a day. That means that you need less food than the healthy weight person. It comes down to what your body burns that determines how much food that you need. It's not I deserve to eat as much as that person does. That's what makes you fat, though, is the fact that you are judging yourself by someone else's metric and it's not serving you. Although I will say, I remember this TikTok, and I hope I come across it while we're doing this, because I'm pretty sure it was at some point within the past year. But I know that they mentioned at one point that they eat 3,000 to 3,500 calories, and that's what their body needs. And it's if I ate that much every day, I would be 400 pounds too. We'll finish listening to what they have to say.
So sick of, that's the thing, my most commented comment from fatphobic trolls is stop eating, as if my food consumption is the reason that I am the size that I am. None of these people, of course, know what my food consumption is, and I get this from doctors all the time. Everyone assumes what my food consumption is. They'll just start listing, well, don't eat X, Y, Z, and half the time I don't even eat that shit anyway. And it is obnoxious to me that the solution to fatness is everybody who's fat needs to just stop eating. That is not why we're fat. And it's such a fucking misunderstanding of biology and how our bodies work, and it literally makes my head feel like it's going to just explode.
I'm sorry, no, you're the one that's not understanding this. Because you're saying their metabolism works fast and they can out-eat me and they're thin, then that's just the way their body is. That's the fucking point. Is that you have to eat in terms of what your metabolism can handle, and that's not that it's easy. No one's saying that it's easy. And yeah, sometimes it kind of sucks when you really want that piece of cake, but you know it's not gonna help you. But someone else can have that piece of cake because they're like a fucking athlete or something, and it's not gonna affect them. It sucks. It's not unfair, even if it feels like that, but it still comes down to you over-consuming food that is too much for what your body can burn. You can adjust this some with exercise and building muscle, but there's still only so much that you can do. You have to learn to eat within what your body can burn.
You know, it's odd because a lot of trolls tell me to stop giving medical advice, and I don't give medical advice. I give health advice and health guidance.
The fucking synonyms! Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Oh man. This is giving me so many flashbacks to someone very fucking toxic in my life. From when I was a kid, where they would play these fucking word games where they're essentially using synonyms to excuse their behavior and doing this manipulative fucking mental gymnastic fucking bullshit to say that what they're doing isn't actually wrong. Fuck you. Fuck you. Oh my god. If you are giving advice for people on how to cure their diabetes or on things that they should do for their diabetes, you are giving medical advice, motherfucker. You are giving medical advice.
But I don't give medical advice. I also have repeated multiple times that I am not a doctor, and I am not.
You never say that you are not a doctor, though, while you were giving the advice. You do that in some one-off other sort of fucking video. When people are, like, accusing you of giving medical advice, you're like, I'm not a doctor. I never claimed to be a doctor. But you don't fucking say that in the fucking videos where you were giving medical fucking advice. Oh, I'm so fucking pissed.
A medical professional. I am just a very chronically ill person who has been chronically ill for several years now and who has a special vested interest in chronic illnesses and medical fat phobia. But I never claim to be a doctor, and I never ever give people medical advice, and I constantly repeat that any advice should be talked about with your doctor.
No, you fucking don't. Yes, you fucking do give medical advice. We saw it with the fucking diabetes clip in my last video. I'm so fucking angry right now. I'm so fucking mad. You say that doctors are liars. You put forth that you say that they should talk it over with their doctor, and yet you say doctors are fucking liars. We have all of this on fucking video. I can't. I don't know how to I am so flabbergasted and angry. I don't even know how to process this.
It's so weird. You know, it's
Oh my god, I can't. I fucking can't. You're 36 fucking years old, and yet you are playing this bullshit. This is fucking bullshit is what this is. You're like, I don't give medical advice, I give health advice. Because by saying that you give health advice, that puts it under a general umbrella term that would be the same as a fucking life coach. But in reality, if you were talking about specific diseases and telling people that doctors are liars and shouldn't be trusted, and that this is how you cured your diabetes even though you didn't fucking cure your diabetes, you are giving medical advice. You are giving medical advice. Oh my god, I'm so fucking mad. I'm fucking mad. This fucking bullshit. This is so much fucking bullshit. I can't even speak. I can't even process the amount of audacity and bullshit that is in this TikTok. You are such a fucking liar. You are such a fucking liar. And you say on occasion that you are not a medical professional, but you do not say it in the same videos that you are giving medical fucking advice. And you can say that it's health advice all you fucking want. But if you are talking about specific diseases and how to manage them, that is medical advice. Medical and health advice are fucking synonyms. Oh, I'm so fucking mad. We'll do one more and then I need a break for today. Because this is a level of bullshit that is fucking rage-inducing.
Okay, too much context to give, so go back to the original video if you want to know what the hell we're talking about here. This person says, yeah, and how often do these only in emergencies weight loss measures turn into things just pushed on fat people because your weight is an emergency? Exactly. This is my biggest problem with something like this, because weight loss surgeries started out as something that was only meant for extreme obesity. We're talking about over 600 pounds here. We're talking about a vast minority of fat people that it was meant to help. And now they prescribe it to everyone. I know people who at 200 pounds and 250 pounds are being told that they need weight loss surgery, which to me personally is fucking horrifying.
I don't know if I believe that. I don't believe anything that FatSapphicBro says. There's no way for me to really look this up that I can think of. Like, there's no, because they're just saying, I just know people that were 250 pounds and were told to have weight. Like, there's no way to verify this. But typically, the weight loss surgeries are primarily given to those that are at least 100 pounds overweight, if not more. That would be considered an exceptional amount of weight. That would put you in morbid obesity range. And I'm sorry, but I don't know if the original classification was something like 600 pounds or if it was probably like a BMI measure, which can vary based on height. And I would even say that FatSapphicBro, your weight is an emergency. I would say that 450 pounds is an emergency. I would say that that's an emergency. That's more than double. That might even be more than triple what anyone is supposed to weigh. So that would be considered an emergency. Just because you don't think it's an emergency doesn't mean that medical science wouldn't dictate that it is an emergency. I love how they act like their opinion is the be-all, end-all of where cutoffs should be.
And again, I'm like 440. Like, I'm a big person. And I think what's particularly a little bit disturbing, at least with gastric bypass, because that tends to be the most popular one, is it wasn't even started with this in mind. So gastric bypass was initially developed in the 1960s, and it was based on the weight loss observed among patients undergoing partial stomach removal for ulcers. And when they realized that people were losing weight because of that, they turned it into a bariatric surgery, and that's how we get gastric bypass. And so while there are very rare cases that I think that this original thing that we're talking about, this hormone stopping surgery can do, there are rare cases where, yes, this is a thing. There are people who have over-insatiable hunger response to the point that they consume non-food items. That is obviously a problem and can cause a lot of illness. So that would be a great instance of a case where it's okay to use this. But my problem is, a lot of times these solutions end up being used for all fat people across the board. And already I have so many of y'all commenting about how your doctors are forcing you to go through weight loss surgery in order to be given other treatments. And I just imagine that it's not hard to extrapolate that that's going to be the case for this too. And I am going to be damned if I'm going to be fucking bullied by doctors to do something like this, to turn off my fucking hunger hormone, all because they want me to be smaller before they'll treat my actual illnesses. The issue is not that fat people need to be smaller. The issue is that fat people need to be given equitable fucking health care at every step of the goddamn way. And we need to start being given care regardless of whether or not we desire to lose weight, and we need to stop being bullied and pressured into losing weight when we personally have no desire to shrink our bodies. It is harmful. It is a problem. Thank you for this edition. Okay,
Honestly, this is nothing more than the Dunning-Kruger effect, because you say that we need equitable healthcare regardless of whether we want to lose weight or not, but the truth is that the treatments are affected by your weight. Additional fat can affect the way that medication can take. You may need more medication. There's always usually a ceiling for how big a dose can be that they're giving you of any particular medication. Surgeries have risks that increase based on your weight, because the doctors, if it's a surgery, the doctors have to cut through more and more fat and dig into deeper to get through the layers of fat in order to get to whatever area they're trying to reach. Your weight can increase your risks, which could potentially increase the risk of a malpractice suit against the doctor. When losing weight would reduce the risk, reduce mortality risks, and or simply make the medication more effective, or what have you. Like, there's a bunch of different reasons you aren't taking into consideration the logistics of the situation. Why? Because you want to be nothing more than a fucking victim. And for the record, I have no idea exactly what this turn off your hunger hormone treatment that they are referring to. I know we watched the video on it. I don't know what this is exactly referring to. And at this point, I'm so fucking pissed. I don't necessarily want to look it up right now. If we end up covering it again, I'll look it up in the next video. But the bariatric surgery, saying that it originally started with ulcers in the stomach, and then they realized it had a weight loss effect, that does not in and of itself negate the issue. With, like, I'm pretty sure Viagra started as, what was it, like a blood pressure medication or something, and then they realized it had this side effect. Like, that happens in every realm of humanity to begin with. Something starts out with having an initial reason for its existence that maybe doesn't match up as well as other medications that come after, but it does have this side effect that ends up providing a different effect. I think even Benadryl started as a sleep aid, but they realized that it was they realized that it was an antihistamine and helped with allergies. It might have been the other way around. I don't remember. But, like, there's all sorts of examples, not just in the medical field. I think Freon, something that was used in the beginning of, like, old air conditioners and stuff, started out as a sweetener, or maybe it was originally used for, maybe it wasn't. There was something that started out as either an artificial sweetener or something that, like, a coolant. And I think it started out as a coolant, and one of the people working on it managed to get some on his thumb, accidentally licked it off, and realized it was super sweet. And it was then something was used as that thing was used as a sweetener. I would look it up, but at this point we've gone longer than I want to, and I'm mentally exhausted from this fucker. I really try hard not to name call people. I really try hard not to... it's not that I don't swear, but I try not to swear while calling someone a fucker or calling it out. I try not to do that. But the audacity, the lying, the bullshit is just too much for me when it comes to FatSapphicBro. So I'm ending it here. Some things that are going in my life. I somehow fucking gained another pound. I'm a little frustrated about that because I tried pretty hard this week. But I'm going to chalk it up to still some fallout from when I was stress eating, and I just need to stay on my path, and eventually the weight will come back off. I'm still working through Kaudu's route in Cafe Enchanté because I find his route rather boring. I am knitting a sweater. I'm almost done with the front panel. and I finished reading Hell's Paradise, which I fucking loved. I loved it so much, and I heard that when I was looking it up, there's an anime coming out on April 1st. I'm so excited. I'm really excited to see that, and I might actually subscribe to Crunchyroll just to be able to see that anime, because it's so good. And that's about all I have to say for today. Goddamn, they're exhausting. Everyone, have a good week. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time.